The midnight shadows of San Francisco's Starlight Tower hid more than just dust and secrets. They cloaked a revolution. Amelia Hart, the invisible woman who scrubbed away the sins of corporate greed, never imagined her mop would become a weapon. But when a glowing monitor exposed Richard Kane's lies, and a skeleton key USB whispered of her mother's legacy, Amelia realized, cleaners don't just erase stains, they rewrite history. Want to uncover how a janitor toppled a tyrant? Subscribe now and hit the bell, because tonight's episode will leave you questioning who really holds the power. The Starlight Tower dominated San Francisco's skyline, its glass facade reflecting the foggy twilight like a fractured mirror. Amelia Hart navigated the labyrinth of cubicles on the 45th floor, her rubber-soled shoes silent against the marble floor. At 2:14 a.m., the building belonged to her, the night cleaner, the invisible woman. She wiped down Richard Kane's desk with deliberate slowness, her gloved fingers brushing a silver-framed photo of him shaking hands with the mayor. "A leader with a heart of gold," the caption read. Amelia snorted. Richard's office smelled of sandalwood and arrogance. She'd memorized his routines, the way he lingered at the espresso machine at 7 p.m., ignoring her presence, the cold precision of his voice when she'd once mustered a "good evening, sir." His reply, "I don't pay you to speak," still stung, though she'd hidden it behind a nod. But tonight something shifted. Amelia paused at the edge of the open-plan workspace, her notebook pressed to her chest. A group of junior analysts huddled near the coffee station, their laughter brittle. "Did you see Richard's gift to the board members?" one whispered. "Monogrammed watches again." Amelia's pen hovered. She sketched the scene. A Rolex box, the analyst's forced smiles, the way Jessica, the intern, shrank into her blazer when Richard clapped her on the shoulder. "Kane Enterprises takes care of its own," he'd announced at the last town hall. The words felt greasy now. At 3:17 a.m., Amelia knelt to plug in the vacuum cleaner. A flicker of light caught her eye, Richard's monitor still on. A half-typed email glowed. "Ensure the Singapore branch complies. No exceptions. R." Her breath hitched. The cursor blinked beside a file attachment labeled Project Phoenix_Final. Amelia's fingers trembled as she reached for her lanyard, where a USB shaped like a skeleton key hung hidden under her uniform. "You're not supposed to be here," a voice hissed. Amelia froze. A security guard loomed in the doorway, flashlight aimed at her face. "Just cleaning," she said, her voice hoarse from disuse. The guard squinted at the monitor. "Turn that off. And stay out of the executive's files." As he left, Amelia exhaled. Her notebook lay open to a fresh page. She wrote, 214 Richards, gifts equals distraction? Project Phoenix equals offshore account? At the bottom she sketched the USB key. The employee of the month, board glowed under fluorescent lights. Jessica's nervous smile plastered beside Richard's praise. "Dedication is our currency." Amelia paused, her mop handle inches from the photo. She'd watched Jessica scrub coffee stains off Richard's Italian leather shoes the previous week, her apology muffled by tears. Currency, Amelia thought. Not loyalty. Not respect. At 2:30 a.m. the printers hummed, a rhythmic counterpoint to the silence. Amelia slid open the supply closet, her flashlight catching a crumpled email draft sticking out of the recycling bin. To HR department. Subject: Re-compliance concerns. I regret to inform you that further objections to Project Phoenix will result in immediate termination. Signed R. Kane. Her breath fogged the plastic gloves. Another draft, dated 3 days prior, lay beneath it. Anonymous tip. Richard Kane is funneling funds to shell companies. Evidence attached. Amelia's pulse quickened. She'd heard whispers of Project Phoenix before. Richard's grand plan to expand into Asia, hailed as visionary in Forbes. But the attached spreadsheet told a different story. Offshore accounts, inflated invoices, a paper trail leading to a Cayman Islands registry. A creak echoed down the hallway. "Still here, Hart." The security guard from last night leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. His badge read Carl Reeves. "Just finishing," she said, tucking the emails into her apron. Carl's gaze lingered on her lanyard. "You're not from the temp agency, are you?" The question hung like a guillotine blade. Amelia forced a shrug. "Does it matter?" Carl's eyes narrowed, then flicked to the surveillance camera in the corner. Be careful. Some floors are more sensitive than others. Later, in the stairwell, Amelia plugged the skeleton key USB into her phone. A hidden folder unlocked. Hart Foundation. 35% shares. Proxy voting rights. A video file flickered. A woman with Amelia's sharp cheekbones, her voice frail but steady. If anything happens to me, the shares go to Amelia. Protect her from the vultures. Her mother's last words. A notification pinged. An encrypted message from an unknown number. Meet me at the docks. 3 a.m. Bring the USB. The docks smelled of brine and betrayal. Amelia stood beneath a flickering street lamp, the USB cold against her palm. A figure emerged from the shadows, tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a janitor's uniform. You're not just here to clean toilets, are you? He said, voice low. Depends, Amelia replied. Are you just here to ask bad questions? The man smirked, revealing a chipped tooth. Name's Marcus. I've been tracking Kane's offshore accounts for 6 months. Your mother's foundation hired me. Amelia stiffened. You knew her. Enough to know she'd want you alive. Marcus pulled out a burner phone. Project Phoenix isn't expansion, it's embezzlement. Richard's siphoning funds to buy out your shares. But with this USB, he nodded at her neck. A horn blared in the distance. Amelia hesitated, then handed him the drive. Make it quick. 2 days later, Amelia crouched in a server room, Marcus's instructions echoing in her earpiece. Bypass the firewall. Use the Phoenix password. Sweat dripped down her spine as she typed. The screen flashed. Access granted. Now download the Cayman Islands registry, Marcus whispered. Files flooded the screen, bank statements, shell company names, Richard's signature digitized in blood-red ink. Amelia copied them to a hidden cloud drive, her chest tight. Got it, she breathed. Good. Now delete everything. We need plausible deniability. At dawn, Amelia returned to Starlight Tower. Richard's office door hung open. He stood at the window, tie askew. You? He spat, spotting her. Where's the USB? Amelia froze. A security feed on his desk showed a time-stamped clip. Her handing the drive to Marcus. Richard advanced, fists clenched. You think you're clever? Those shares are worthless. The board knows your mother was unstable. Amelia's vision blurred. She gripped her mop like a weapon. Worthless? Like your leadership. Richard froze. For the first time, fear flickered in his eyes. The boardroom buzzed like a beehive poisoned. Richard Kane stood at the podium, his smile razor-sharp. Ladies and gentlemen, Project Phoenix will secure our dominance in Asia. A phone rang. Amelia's ringtone, Fur Elise, her mother's favorite, pierced the silence. Richard paled. Turn that off, he barked. Amelia rose from the back row, her voice steady. No need. I've already sent the recordings to the press. She held up her phone, playing the audio. Those shares are worthless. The board knows your mother was unstable. Richard lunged at her. The board gasped as Amelia sidestepped, letting him crash into a chair. You insolent. Insolent. Amelia removed her janitor's name tag, revealing a Platinum Kane Enterprises badge beneath. 35% of this company is mine. And you've been stealing from it. The CFO stood, face ashen. The Cayman accounts, they're real. 2 hours later, Richard knelt on the 45th floor, scrubbing a coffee stain from the carpet. His Rolex glinted under the fluorescent lights, a cruel joke. This is ridiculous. He spat at Amelia, now dressed in a tailored suit. Just following your rules, she said. Dedication is our currency, right? The board members filed out, avoiding his gaze. One woman paused. We've voted. You're demoted to facilities maintenance. Effective immediately. That evening, Amelia stood before the elevator, a cardboard box in hand. Jessica approached, trembling. Ms. Hart, I found this. She handed Amelia a crumpled email draft. Richard's threat to fire her if she spoke out. Amelia smiled. You're the new CEO. Fix this place. Jessica's eyes widened. Me? But I'm just an intern. Exactly. Power doesn't wear a suit. Amelia stood at the Starlight Tower's entrance, her reflection fractured in the glass doors. Morning light spilled over San Francisco, but the building felt different, quieter, yet charged with anticipation. Jessica's voice echoed through the lobby. Minimum wage increase approved. Effective today. Applause erupted. Amelia smirked. The intern had traded her trembling blazer for a CEO's resolve, but her eyes still flickered with insecurity. You sure about this? Jessica had asked the night before, clutching Amelia's proxy vote form. I mean, why not you? Power is a mirror, Amelia replied. It shows you who you really are, or who you're pretending to be. At 2:14 a.m., Amelia returned to her routine. The 45th floor gleamed, desk spotless, trash cans empty. A sticky note on Richard's old office door read, Cleaner's Lounge, all staff welcome. She paused at the supply closet. Carl the guard leaned against the frame, arms crossed. You knew, she said, about my mother's shares. Carl nodded. Marcus isn't the only one watching. Some secrets, they're meant to be found. Amelia's grip tightened on her notebook. And Richard? He's scrubbing toilets on the 10th floor. Complains about the smell. Carl smirked. Funny, isn't it? The stench follows him. Later, Amelia knelt to mop the boardroom floor. Moonlight spilled through the windows, illuminating fresh paint on the wall. Power is in humility. The words, stenciled in reverse, shimmered like a ghost. Amelia traced them with her glove. A janitor's mark, hidden but unyielding. Her phone buzzed. An encrypted message. Found another shell company. Cayman Islands. Amelia smiled. The skeleton key USB glinted around her neck.